Stanley trying to overplay Paul George. George gets by him for a jam.
Roll.
He did not.
Yes,
but it was not true.
But it was lost out because he obviously had a job and they were going to film during the winter.
George, will it count? It will.
Good thing just for an easy look for the Nets. Some ball movement. They only got off 6 field goal attempts in the fourth prior to that.
Paul George soaring high for the Thunder. KC chant right now. George tapped out. Adams. George drives. He's fouled. A chance at a three-point play. George crosses. George flips it in. He put it over Jared Allen. It's a one-point game. Gets it in for Westbrook. One-point game. Westbrook tosses. George, pump fake. 3 on the way. Yes! Paul George nails it. The Thunder go in front with 3 seconds to play.
Make that, yeah, it's 4th. George. No, 6th rebound. Oh, I'm sorry. There's George. Oh, that's going to count. And a foul.
So it's Terrence Ferguson guarding Mitchell, who turns it over, throws it right to Paul in transition, and Paul is able to finish.
Just beautiful touch that he shows.
George again got that Paul in the passing lane. Goes right at the rim, had the angle, and spins it home. Just 6 out of 21, 28% of the game. As George dances, hand in the face, doesn't matter. Another pure shot right down the pipe. Now Westbrook had it blocked, I believe, by Favors, but there's Steven Adams saving it from going out of bounds. George, boy, he is on fire from downtown. 5 for 5 for Paul George.
2 minutes.
Alex Abrinas on the floor. George was trying to draw contact. There wasn't any, but he buried the shot anyway.
For a minute to play.
Holiday penetrates Westbrook. Another great defensive play. Got the strip. Ahead to George. Driving on Frazier. Scores and a foul.
Always hit the guy that's open no matter who it is.
George, what a shot. Paul George. Through contact, finishes off glass. George takes it strong. Soars to the rim for the slam. George feeling it for 3. Got it! His 3rd triple. He's got 16 in the quarter, 22 for the game.
Contact, no call. There's Paul George, stampedes ahead, wants the 3, got the 3. 3rd 3 of the game for the Thunder, 2 of them by George. Ferguson and his couple fouls are back in. Thunder stays down defensively. George gets behind the pack and soars for the flush.
That historical run.
George dances. Paul George lighting it up from the outside.
Going pretty hard, too.
And now the steal. Thunder want to get out. Stepping into a 3 is George, and he buries it from the left wing. Paul George knocks it down. 8 so far in this first half. Leaves it off to George. Thought about that 3. Instead, spins on Arcidiacono. And the knockdown for Paul George, who just looks so smooth out on the floor. He's
The backboard?
I thought it was the top of the backboard, the way that it popped up. Did you say smooth?
And shoot the 3.
I don't know if that was a shot or a pass.
It was a pass, and as Wendell Carter Jr. tried to get it over the top.
Uh-oh. Ready with 20 in the first half. Holiday, good defensive player on him.
You got the right guy with the basketball.
Got to the rim, counted in the foul!
By the OKC Thunder. Here they come up by 4. George lowers the shoulder, takes the bump, and draws the foul and scores the basket.
Yes, they do.
And they're not getting a stop there. That's Paul George making sure of that.
The Paul George. Westbrook spreads the floor. George slaps away the hand of O'Neal and a whistle.
He's playing as good at basketball as he's played his entire career.
George already with 30 points in the game. And counting. Paul George from downtown just continues to light up the bottom of the net. George on the step back. Continues to feel it. This time it's from downtown. Saric floats it up. That bounces off the back of the rim as the Thunder inching closer up ahead. George soars and throws it down. Match with Saric. Double team. Jang had it stripped on the way up. He thought he got fouled. George, the three. That's good. Back-to-back threes for the Thunder. George with 27.
I did not think the day was going to end with a Lorenzo Williams reference.
You can get the production from on that.
Oh, Paul George.
And again, Marcus, it's the bounce passes that are too slow to get through the quickness.
A little turnaround shot, no good. George spins and floats it up and in.
Consistent. It's a big man floater, but he's so effective with it.
Nice. That's going to count for Paul George.
Again, what you see from this Thunder team is a conscious effort to attack the rim.
Right now it's Harrison Barnes keeping the Mavericks in this one thanks to some hot shooting from three-point land. And Paul George passed up the three, instead drove to the rim.
They're getting good looks, though.
Bad pass stolen by Westbrook. Westbrook measures, throws it up for Paul George. Good unselfish play.
George rips him and then looks at the Laker bench.
Stevenson all over George. Finally draws the foul. Shot's good and one.
And those two guys are good friends and play a lot of video game together while they're on the road against each other.
Teammates with the Pacers. A lot of playoff battles together in Indiana.
I'm sure a lot of practice battles also. And how about Westbrook playing the guitar?
On Sunday, he's got 21 more tonight. That's his fourth three-pointer. Paul George easily gets to the basket. Ferguson stays in the game. Meanwhile, OKC's missed their last 10 shots, and that streak ends as George nails it. Another 30-point game for Paul George.
This lineup, you say, where does the scoring come from? In the half court. You're the Thunder, make this Laker team play half court out.
George to the rim, lays it up and in. 32 for Paul George here in this quarter.
Look at Paul George too, Mike.
Oh, beautiful pass, and George with the slam.
Good at what they do, and you're no longer taking the lead by surprise.
Paul George taking it to the rim and getting it to drop as he hits the deck.
Also, Dwight Howard's first game back.
Yeah, injury game too.
Yeah, that was his actually season debut.
Nice pass, better cut, even better finish by George on the back door.
Hard on Trevor Ariza just to let him know he's coming in.
George drives, took a bump on the arm, and it's going to drop in for the and one.
The best he could do was a step back three. Bradley Beal with a hand in his face.
George, that's all in fluid motion, like poetry. Paul George in the corner. He'll try to line up the three, and he does. Second three of the night for George. See if the Thunder go 2 for 1. George comes right back down again and drains it from three-point land.
4 to play in the second quarter. George around the Adams screen and into Gasol.
Too easy. Too easy for Paul George.
And I think, 19,000 agree with me.
George takes the bump, and they're going to give him the continuation. They will. Counted in the foul. That one away with 2 hands.
And now you want to play with pace. Don't allow the Spurs to set up their defense.
Again for the lead, and George gives the Thunder the lead, 64-63.
Point outburst against the Detroit Pistons. He's now 5 for 6 from three-point land. George, West, counts as the foul.
On the run like that? No, absolutely not. Let him get a little bit below. Look, foul line down this guy. Who can stop this guy in this league?
Paul George with a lot of sauce and sizzle on that mid-range jump shot. It's the NBA in total steals. Now with the three, and he's trying to twist it home. You got to think Paul George has to get a touch at some point, and he does. The three ball quickly, got it, and one! My George! Paul on the job! Incredible!
Come off that. Here he comes off the screen, and then he goes up right away. You say, well, what happened?
13th in the rebounding department in the entire league. Paul George, they're going to count it. Haven't signaled yet. Yes, counted and the foul.
Utility by Sonia.
George, a little shake and bake, nails the three-pointer as he falls down. 13 points for George. The Knicks are down 20.
The Knicks now.
Especially at this end of the floor.
Yep. Better body language.
And George banks it home. Hardaway took a shot in the face.
And Aminu, came up and got blocked by George. George slithering, bounces, fades, and counted to go. McCollum had it knocked away and a steal by George. George got away from everybody and detonates at the rim.
Give him that space. You close out on him hard, it's going to be a problem.
George tracks it down after it right through his hands and splashes home that corner three. Thunder have the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA. Deep attempt, good for George! He's got 5 threes! Game, 90 seconds gone by in the fourth. George feeds a cutting Noel. Oh wow, does the splits. And somehow, he's still walking around with one shoe. Paul George hits a three! George with 27, that's his 7th three ball. George, beautiful dribble, drives the paint, hangs, and gets the bounce. He's got 29. Here's George, puts it on the floor, gets past 2 guys, stuffs it on the freak. George, they double him on the catch. Timer at 5. Against Brogdon, puts it up, hits it! 34 for Paul George.
Paul George on the drive and a foul on Bamba. There's a truck and they make the call. George, oh my goodness. Paul George bouncing off of Isaac.
100 block seasons in franchise history, second only to Alonzo Mourning, who had over 100 blocks 8 times in his Heat career.
And also his length, his ability to offensive rebound.
What a block by Nerlens Noel on Winslow. And Noel has found his niche. Paul George, 4 of 4 from three-point line.
That's why he was open for that rebound.
George weaving through traffic for the two-handed slam.
We're raining threes. Remember now, Boston is 3rd in makes and 3rd in attempts on offensive foul.
George, a block and one.
That should have been an offensive foul.
With another steal, he leads the NBA in total steals. 10-point Thunder lead. George knifing down the lane. Oh, the nifty move on the left hand. That three is way off. As Noel has to save that pass. Setting up another George tray. And he bounds away. Another one from downtown.
Westbrook leads the NBA in assists. Harden is 5th in the NBA as George, count it, and the foul. Went hard to the basket. Westbrook comes in and takes it right out of his hands. Throws it ahead to George. George slams it home. And there's, again, OKC, their best defensively when they force the turnovers. 4 on the 24, George. Count it, and the foul. Chance for a 4-point play.
And it snapped what was 33 consecutive wins for the Blazers when leading going into the fourth quarter. As George slips his way and throws it down. Pretty there to block the shot for the Thunder. C.J. McCollum so dangerous on the offensive end. George, a series of moves. Oh my, Paul George.
That's really good defense by Raymond Felton. Not fouled on that play as well.
Oh, George trying to slither down low. Triple team somehow skirts free with the reverse.
Come on, I could do that if I did that in my church league, I'd average about 50 a game.
Boy, he just muscled his way up through the contact of Rodney Hood. Thunder looking to calm things down on the offensive end. George reading the defensive player, flared out on Aminu, takes the bump and the foul.
Newest Blazer.
George wants the three, got the three. Thunder going for its 4th consecutive win. 11 out of the last 12 games. George, the hesitation, takes the bump, and it drops in.
Although we did see, as I mentioned, last year, some fouls called, some steals. Steal right here. George off the backboard. And now I know we're at an all-star game as Giannis is able to put it down.
That was a skip 1 foot. Dirk, the ode to Dirk there by Harden.
Okay, Paul George. George getting the pick. Harden switches over. There's George on a fadeaway three.
Oh, man. Gonna need that because you got to be able to stop the basketball.
So a lot of work to be done. How about Paul George? Oh, he split the double team, just knifing his way all the way into the cup.
Paul George as good as any scorer off the dribble in the league. Breaks down Gobert, and what an incredible finish with the left hand off the window. And they trail by 3 with 90 seconds to go. Mitchell guarding Westbrook. Shot clock at 8. George gets Mitchell off his feet and ties the game with a 3. Hard screen by Adams. George drives at Gobert and finishes for his 39th point. So a shot. It ends up being Thunderball anyway, and a breakaway for George. And a stop!
How about that overtime game? 3 minutes left. Down 2, and you go with a windmill.
The Thunder down 1, have a timeout. They're not going to use it. George with 5. George drives over Gobert. It's good with 0.8 of a second left to give the Thunder a 1-point lead. Timeout, Utah.
Drop. That was.
And here is Paul George, fresh off that game-winning shot, the high archer, and a beautiful dish that time by Steven Adams as we open up this game.
Murray can't get that one to fall. I'm interested to see this matchup because that would look personal. That looked like he had some anger with that one. Good cut there by Paul George, and he really bailed Russell Westbrook out on that play. Gets one to go there off the steal in transition.
He scored the last 8 for the Timberwolves.
Andrew ices the pick and roll. They send Paul George into the help.
Jeremy Grant loses the basketball, kicks it out. Paul George gets it away at the buzzer. And
Leader is trailing 3. Dennis Schroeder. Missed it all. Offensive rebound by George, did not hit the rim. Clock continues to tick, and George pulls the trigger and gets it to go.
Surprised with all how the game's been called tonight. There was no whistle there.
For the lead, bingo.
Would give you a little argument on that one back in the day. But he rivaled Docker.
Yeah.
Docker darn all over.
Oh, they were close.
Yeah.
Paul George off glass and 1. 36% three-point shooter this year. Paul George working against Crab. And Paul George with the stare-down jumper. And, boy, in a blink, it's down to a 2-point game. Paul George with a chance to tie for OKC. For the lead. Got it! And OKC is up by 1. Hurutz lobbed it up for Allen, never made it.
Oh, hold on. I said he was back. He just blocked that pass.
It's the same guy. Paul George!
See, you need a timeout. It's
a little hesitation move. He threw it away, lost it. 3-on-1 the other way. Paul George took the hit and won.
Good sign that ankle's okay on the drive, ball fake, able to come to the stop. Noel couldn't do anything about it.
And now George, another 3.
Paul George was guarding Sabonis. I was expecting Sabonis to put him in the basket.
Now they run him off the screen again. Now George down the lane, pounds it down. Much better pro than he ever was in that 1 year in college.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody can argue that he's a much better pro. He gives him a legitimate chance at going deep in the West.
7 times this year they've shot below 40%. They've lost the ball, and that is a basket and a foul as George scores.